How to recognize emotional eating and what to do about it. From feedback from my participants in my program on burning the candle at both ends in a way that works, I have been asked to say more about how we can recognize that we are emotionally eating and also ways to deal with this. Some of what I'm about to add, I've already covered in my program, but it doesn't hurt to cover it again. Emotional eating is such a big topic that affects almost everybody. When you think about it, it begins when we're born. What's the first thing you found that gave you comfort? Your mother's milk. Later, when you were experiencing the pain of emerging new teeth, you probably got a soother or some other oral pacifier. Eating emotionally is insidious and is with us in more ways than we can possibly count. But that doesn't mean we can't do something to gain some control over it in our lives. The first thing is to ask yourself if you're eating emotionally, if you find yourself eating when you're stressed, eating when you're not hungry, or when you continue to eat after you're full, eating to explicitly feel better, calming yourself when you're sad, or angry, or anxious, or even bored. Eating as a reward for completing something or getting through something tough. Eating to feel safe, as if food were your friend. Eating for any of these reasons and more, because you simply feel powerless to stop. It's a vicious cycle. Something happens that is upsetting or stressful, even if it's pleasant. Then you feel an overwhelming urge to eat. Then after eating, you feel guilty and powerless over eating. This sets you up for a repeated pattern over and over and over of eating when you're stressed. If you want to be able to deal better with emotional eating, the first thing to do is become aware of what emotional eating feels like for you. This feeling is a physical thing and is unique to each of us. And it means connecting the feeling that you're getting when you feel the need to eat emotionally with the event that caused it. For instance, let's say you just got yelled at and bullied and suddenly have a stomachache and a huge urge to eat something comforting. Or you held it together through a stressful meeting and now want nothing more than a bag of chips or maybe a glass of wine. Or you successfully presented to a crowd of people after preparing for weeks and feel the urgent need to celebrate or relax at last by going to a favorite pizza joint. And even though you don't really feel that hungry, you feel the need to eat. Or you're doing an all-nighter and use comfort, high energy producing food to help you stay awake. It might be that you're bored or that you're in a family situation where food and eating is expected, or you feel uncomfortable and conspicuous if you don't eat along with everybody else. There are so many possible combinations. You'll know what fits for you by logging your eating habits for a few weeks. Tedious? Possibly. Ultimately rewarding? Definitely. Because you'll begin to recognize your own patterns, your own personal patterns of emotional eating. When you log your eating, be sure to capture 4 things: what you ate, carbohydrates, protein, sugar, alcohol, coffee, whatever it is, when you ate, what was going on inside you when you felt the need to eat, and what was going on around you when that happened. 4 things: what you ate, when you ate, what was going on inside you, and what was going on around you. The idea is to begin to recognize what the urge to eat emotionally and physically feels like. What typical things happen to trigger this feeling, and what foods you typically move towards. If you get triggered when someone tries to bully you, you might feel fear and a tightness in your chest and shoulders, and also maybe some acid reflux. When you take the time to log eating, after a while, you'll notice that what you're feeling happens before you get that urge to eat, and you'll notice and identify that feeling. Once you've learned to identify the feelings and triggers, the next step is to build a resource list of ways to satisfy that emotional need that does not involve eating or drinking or smoking. That's why so many diets fail. No matter how healthy it is, the food choices offered will only work for you once you gain control over your emotional eating. If you're feeling stressed, figure out what the stressor is and remove it if at all possible. If that isn't possible, see what you can do to reduce its impact. If you're feeling a sense of relief and want to celebrate, do something you love before eating anything. Sometimes delaying eating even 15 minutes will remove the urgency to eat, and you'll find yourself choosing healthier options. If you're doing an all-nighter, consider taking mini power naps through the night. I've tried this and it really works. It may be that your brain is screaming at you for energy, sugar, carbohydrates. Listen to that brain and feed it some energy. Take a nap and replenish your energy before continuing. If you're at a family gathering and your sister-in-law has made foods packed with simple carbohydrates, fat, and sugar, see if you can redirect your interest on who you're with rather than on what's being served. If you're bored, well, that can mean there's something you're not feeling because it's stressed. It stresses you in some way. See if you can uncover that stressor so that you can start to deal with it. Finally, celebrate your newfound freedom from emotional eating. Every tiny win adds up and is a real reason to celebrate in whichever way works for you. Whatever that way is, be sure to include a solid recognition of your ability to redirect your energies to supporting yourself in a better way. Keep a successes log. Take a hot bath. Buy some beautiful flowers. Whatever makes you feel good about what you've accomplished.